Thank you. Lam Rim Text Sumke Lam Rim Nyamlan Cheva, Tabo Kibo Chumya Lam Rimba said Nyamlan Che, Deneting, Denechimbe Lam Rimba, got Rimbe in the Nyamlan Che Sonova, Denizata Kibo Chumya Lam Rimba Nyamlan Chela, and Zugi Kasam Sheva Nella, Zugi and Dewa Deba, Dewa Tueshe, and Duma Tuyo Mevazang, and the Dewa Dewa Yadi, Ganskans Yungure says Dewadi, Duku Jizada. Dunga di seku wore dunga seku wores dineza dunga seala and dunga de kan zuba de tambo dunga da ha ko ma dunga ha mogona dunga ha mogona dunga de seki se hu sempige tapshi che ko sempe samlo khoro duba khoro ligyo mara me banza dunga seala ya tambo dunga de kanas ka kawa yung ko re kan ka yore se di di shin ko de ke chimo cha ko dineza nga kasi ta dunga
Good evening. So we've been looking for a while now at this Lam Rim text, and as we heard when we started a year ago, the Lam Rim tradition, or the graduated stages to enlightenment. This tradition is a tradition where the various practices that lead to enlightenment are divided in the correct sequence that needs to be developed, and the sequence is in accordance with practitioners of varying capacities. So the practices start out by first being those that are shared with the being a practitioner of initial capacity, and then building on these, it follows with the practices that are shared with the practitioner of intermediate capacity, culminating in the practices that are unique to a practitioner of greatest capacity. Then last week, we started by reminding ourselves that each and every sentient being is the same in desiring happiness and wanting to be freed of all forms of suffering and problems. Coming to recognize that this applies to ourselves as well, of course, then we give rise to the wish, if I want to experience only happiness, these are the causes that I need to accumulate so that I experience my desired happiness. And wanting to be freed from suffering, I must not only avoid accumulating causes that lead to suffering, but I need to eliminate previously accumulated causes that will lead to suffering. And therefore then, last week we looked at the presentation on the lower realms, because without understanding what is meant by suffering, and understanding suffering in a broad and as well as a profound manner, one will not know about the variety of sufferings that are experienced by beings. So therefore, in order to understand with vivid clarity what causes to avoid and what previously accumulated causes to eliminate, one needs to have a clear understanding of suffering. And therefore, we looked at the sufferings that are being experienced by beings in the lower realms last week.
Ganas hagu was an singular da, Tene and the Lonian diet, Casa Suton, Lonian Tipa Dachine, Della Dinner on the Hakugorwa, Tene the Hagone, and on to be Neam de Mayali, Toxin order the name the dinner words and Della Tagu were the name then become a Tigora said, Della Tarhapta and the Chigoro. And the Nigi send you down near to Chige Luntin Tayak, I never end Manzo de Mass with the Tenanzo de Bendigo, the one Yoramacho, and Azagumar. Jeza did penimation bars, Liguvene, and Haguma, Jeza, Dele, Tabi, tap sheeting on the Jetu Marwa. Jeza Dineza, Deniga Hagu, Jeza that the name go do, want to delay. Tayake, Ganatile, Seata, Ganatile, Tataki, Tupshi, 탑시 제 두고래 탑시 제네 강한에 세 두고로 와
To give an illustration that we can certainly relate to from what's in the news right now. We all aware of this coronavirus that is causing such destruction for many people. And we are aware of this, and being aware of this, people throughout the world now are very aware of this epidemic and the possibility of its coming to the countries in which they live. And knowing about this, there's a lot of concern, and people are taking precautions. Similarly, we also very aware of some of the very manifest suffering in the world, such as from warfare and other forms of conflict. So how do we know about this? Well, we know about this because we read newspapers, we watch the news, or we listen to the news. We also watch documentaries. So through such means, we gather knowledge. Gathering knowledge, we give rise to this wish of this suffering that beings are experiencing right now. I do not want to experience this. And likewise, whilst we're gathering together with finding out about what's happening in the world, we also at the same time find out about what can we do to prevent experiencing such suffering. So here what we see is it's through the gathering of information that one gives rise to the wish, I want to be freed of any possibility of suffering in this way. Based on having this wish, one acquires knowledge in regards to what can I do about this. And then one does something, one follows that advice to try and minimize and hopefully eliminate the possibility of experiencing these kinds of suffering. So the sequence that I'm trying to present here in this very relevant real-world illustration is that first one requires knowledge. Based on knowledge, an aspiration arises, and based on that further knowledge in terms of what we can do about this. And that is what leads to action. That is what leads to a change in our behavior.
Nyebi dunga sayadang, and nyawa le rik, and jiki nyawa tsanya, changya sayadang, dinashin nyebi dunga, dinashin da dunga, ida yi dunga sayadang. Deso nyawa ida dunro, kasa ida sayadiki, manzugi migi tungo mare, and hakugo mare. Dinsa sanjigi ma, jiki tenjue nalma, and sanji sunyadang, and sanjigi jesuna bigida, ne. Pandita namji ma sonshibi Lama ne pejina sonshiba ndela tene nga chugi nyawa se dine gu ma yores te dunga dine yungore se ada ida se dine yungore chiza ida gi dunga dine yungores chiza dine inza ta ida gi dunga da nyeyu dunga gi dine yugo ba hago ya de soso rarang di dunga de nyoma gi tablamdi datine che yede bare dine inza nyeyu dunga se ada ida gi dunga dine yore she go ba gyumjen dire dine gi she odu an dela tene nga su ni sa o dela da maya gi di ma gi dunga maya gi tablamdi nga su dati che yore yo mara se tabshi di che yore se 지산 텔레단 터지제나 오다 텔레데 타고 델라 마탄데 탑민도 마오바나 랑 소스라이네 니유 둥아뇨 모가다 이다이 둥아뇨 모가 제고 둥아딜라 타고도 지산 소스라나 델레 탑비게 탑제 다든지 베슨 지긴 셈비게 아는 아소리야 데니 베슨 제알이야 안 듬버게야다 준주게야 디 아는 아소 용고래 지산 디 요야게 돈달라 아니 니유 둥아다 데데데 요래 이다이 둥아 데데데 요래 시고래 and Dimas Soso Ramaze, Shan, Soso Rangi Shan, Padojima, Shan Simja, Tam Simja Ganachine, the Nigi Duan Mod, Chehudu, Chesa, the Nigi Duan Tele Tartapi, Shan Yangi Pando, Tubin Sampigi, and Rangina Tele Tariana, Shan Simja Tamjana Tele Tariagi, Tapshiding, Jigin Sampi, Soso, Donegi Dumbakiana, the Nigi Giondu, the Nigi Tabage, Tapshidele, Bezun Jayagi, Donala, and di ane nyewe dunga tanga ane che idake dunga tene yore sheba di goba gyumsen rui tene re.
And last week we We spoke in brief about the sufferings that are being experienced in the lower realms right now. And the three lower realms are those of beings who are born in the animal realm, those born in the spirit realm, and we looked in particular at the class of spirits called pretas, and those born in the hells, in the hot and cold hells. So the two where the suffering is most intense is that of the beings who are born in any of the hells, whether the 8 cold or the 8 hot hells, or beings born in the spirit realm, such as the pretas. Now those realms we cannot directly perceive. We have no experience in this life of the suffering that beings are experiencing there. The only way we can gain some knowledge about what beings are experiencing there is through the experiences, or what has been described in texts composed either by great bodhisattvas based on their clairvoyance, or the Buddha himself in the sutras. So we need to come to understand the sufferings that beings are experiencing, beings who have been born there, propelled by their own severe negative karma. Because through independence on this knowledge, on coming to understand this, gathering this knowledge, we then can understand what are those causes that lead to these suffering results. And that knowledge then is empowering, because through this knowledge we can identify the causes that need to be avoided, that need to be purified. Thereafter, one also comes to hear and understand, gain knowledge about the various methods to avoid accumulating further causes for ourselves to be born in such suffering situations, or how to purify previously accumulated causes. Then based on these sets of knowledge, we can take action. We can change our way of thinking, can change our behavior. So here, we accumulate knowledge based on what those with powerful clairvoyance have directly perceived. And and based on that, we can change our behavior. So this is why it's important that we come to understand the wide varieties of sufferings that beings are experiencing. And moreover, with this knowledge, we can, and also based on this, the topics we've covered previously in the Lam Rim, we see that on the basis of this precious human rebirth, we have the opportunity now to completely transform our way of thinking, to develop ourselves spiritually. We have the opportunity now to close the possibility of being born in the lower realms. We have this tremendous opportunity now that if we don't utilize well, and we are born in the lower realms in our future lives, once born there, in such an existence, it's too late then to eliminate those causes that have led to the birth that has been experienced, or is being experienced. But now it's not. So based on this knowledge, based on gathering this knowledge and then reflecting, meditating on it repeatedly, we'll give rise to an overwhelming desire to strive at our spiritual development, to make tremendous effort to transform ourselves, so that we can close the door to potential rebirth in such a suffering place. So that is the first major step to strive for, to ensure that we do not fall into such a suffering realm. The second major category of meditation here is to generate compassion for those mother sentient beings, those sentient beings who have shown us such kindness in past lives, and who are born there now, who are suffering in these incomprehensible ways. As well as, and then to give rise to compassion for those beings suffering there, and also to generate compassion for those who are not born there now, but are accumulating, despite wanting happiness, are accumulating the causes for suffering, the causes that will lead to such a rebirth. To generate compassion for beings who are, in a sense, embracing the causes for suffering. And on the basis of this compassion, commit to developing ourselves ever further, so that we can be of benefit to beings right now, and benefits them in terms of guiding them into in the knowledge of what are the actual causes for happiness and what are the causes for suffering. So these are the two results that we're developing through these meditations. One, to ensure that we change our behavior so that we do not fall into the lower realms. And secondly, through our cultivation of virtue, that we can be of great benefit to others. And this comes from the cultivation of compassion.
Andi membi da nganzu nyogo meba ina da sa andi chike TV da dinane da du andi chike semching dunga chike jari da nyala so ba da semji dung ben chikama mangbu je thong thu go ro ba da je za dunru ge dunga rik mangbu je nganzu ge thong thu go re je da rik mangbu je nganzu ma thong wa yo re je za dine za ji ba re da dunga din dunru ge dunga di Nevi dunga da ida dunga se denga zuki tonga me ba sa sangi ge son she bi pe china son she dele tene yichi che jang zu and yichi che ne dele tar de ge dunga ka dunga de la tar go do sem bi lobchong chi ya re ma do mi ge tonga me ba ba da zu dunru ge dunga de rik ting zu mi ge tonga da ngo sum de tonga di mango ye de ba enza an dele nga zuki o da de ne dunga do yo ra sem bi nga zu di ha ko ro wa chi da de ne enza da nga zu ina da dina shi da dunga de oda dindro le kya ina ta dunga dine kanga du chesa dunga mawa bana jewa chima dindro na ma jewa de jego dunga le ta dindro ki dunga de ta go du sembe samna ta ya da di ma se rang ine re mi shanda ine su ine dunga dindro ke so dine kanga du chesa dindro le kya de ta che dunga le ma ki dindro le ma ki ve tablam jang zu be su jego du sembe ke samna dine ya ne ya do ta ya gi di dondala and dundu dunga sam tang wa di cha ko re chesa dundu nyawa yida dundu sumge dunga sam tang yo dunga de la thar de ge sam ba ge ge thar de ge dum ba ge ge dondala nyawa yida dundu sumge dunga di ma she na dunga de la thar ko de so le thar ko sem dum ba ge yo de an ga yo se ne de le thar wi ge tablam di de le ki gyu di ga re se ne gyu se ya ta de le thar bi tablam di ga ju ge be je che o re je ya le ya ane di dondala di chingebe ida dunro sei dunga di shedi di reda
The sufferings that are being experienced in the hell and the preta realms, these we can't directly perceive but only come to know based on the text composed by those beings with powerful clairvoyance. But the third low realm, that of animals, these we can directly perceive. The sufferings that are being experienced there we can and do directly perceive. Sufferings such as animals always live with this constant fear that another animal with more power than itself can potentially at any moment catch it and eat it alive. And this is a fear they live with continuously. Moreover, and this applies to whatever class of animal, whether a bird or a mammal or insect, whatever class of animal, they live with this fear. They also live with the fear of being abused by humans, utilized by humans, abused by humans, as well as many other sufferings that they experience. So these we don't have to rely on these sufferings. We don't have to rely on the text by great beings to understand the sufferings that animals endure. This we can observe directly ourselves, or come to know through media that's widely available. But just like before, with the sufferings being experienced in the hells and by the pretas, the purpose of reflecting on this so that one gains vivid clarity of the suffering that is being experienced right now is for those same broad two reasons. To think about that suffering, firstly, to think about that suffering as if it was being experienced by myself. So in the first person, how would it be if I was experiencing this? Could I cope with that? And thereby give rise to the strong and overwhelming wish to ensure that I do not create the causes that could potentially lead to that rebirth. And the stronger this intention not to accumulate those causes, the greater effort we will put into transforming ourselves, in particular our way of thinking and thereby a way of speaking and acting. And then the second category the second category of objective to cultivate here is that to remind ourselves that that suffering in these low realms isn't something merely theoretical or something that only potentially awaits ourselves, but that this is a potential for all ordinary sentient beings who are not in the lower realms now. They may well fall there through the accumulation of the appropriate causes. Moreover, right now, mother sentient beings are suffering there. Beings who in the past have shown us such great kindness, but due to their negative karma, have taken rebirth there and are suffering there now. So this second way of thinking, this is to generate powerful compassion within us for other beings. And in dependence on this powerful compassion, we again commit ourselves to our spiritual development. But here, the objective is not just for ourselves, but we commit to developing spiritually so that we can guide others in how to accumulate the causes of happiness and how to abandon the causes that lead to suffering. And thereby, the second objective is to be of greatest benefit to others. So it's for those two reasons, those two broad category of reasons, that we need to engage in depth meditation on the sufferings that are being experienced in the lower realms. Because the result of this meditation is to give us a transformative strength of mind, a strength of mind that transforms our endeavors and gives us the enthusiasm and to fulfill our commitment to spiritually transform. So that is the purpose of these meditations.
가산 자위 고물을 손샤비게단 자와드마 직대시 주사 다디니만 디대시 제어로시도와 시소 냐와 반남라 차신 동어 슈퍼미니베 예스데난 냐와리아베 차유 동화 장유 동화 메바 강아 쇼주어레세지 요레세 이다 남라 제고미 동화 셈미니바 예스데다 미니바 시데 이다디 켈야베 직 rohotoya ta kakomba ta denige zo shenda dunga yore de ine dile ada zoru dunga kar yorasne jeba rohoto to ba ta kakombe dunga ani de yore esaje adene diro namla jila jik sa lengu sogyu dunga miseba yese dunro delya jigi ane jigi dunro khonso nam benzulya jigi sayada di membege da dunga mi da shandagi ane jig peche da ganga te da saya cheba saya sueba da denigi ane jig deni jungwa juwe genje ganga cheba de dunga da mara padu me ba yore esaji da dordiro shuwe ne disungdo
deni Bertig die Sikam Sum Sigbimbe. Nyawa Yidak Dundo de Sum Sigbimbe. So now let's turn to the text again. So we're in the middle of page 20. Last week we looked at some root verses from Nagarjuna, and now the summary of those lines is presented. So in the middle of page 20, the sufferings of the hot and cold hells are unendurable. The sufferings of hungry ghosts are horrendous. The suffering of animals eating one another, being domesticated and ruled by humans, being unintelligent and so forth, are overwhelming. So this then is a summary presentation that is presented here for you to use in your reflection. To remind yourselves in brief here, so having gained a lot of knowledge or studied well about the sufferings that are being experienced in the lower realms, if one has acquired that knowledge well and committed it to memory, merely reading these three lines will remind ourselves of the tremendous suffering that is being experienced in the hot and cold hells and the neighboring and temporal hells. And thinking about that excruciating suffering, of course, compassion arises within us as well as a commitment not to be born there. And we'll also then reflect on the sufferings that are being experienced by beings in the hungry ghost realm or the preta realm. So the primary sufferings there are tremendous thirst and hunger that cannot be satiated, that for these incredibly long lifespans that beings endure there, they always are experiencing a tormenting hunger and thirst. And there are also many other sufferings that are being experienced there, but There's hunger and thirst that are primary. Then as we see here, those born in animal realms, they also suffer tremendously, such as being abused by humans for food or for their skin or their fur, as well as animals devouring each other while still alive. So if one has studied well, if one has come to understand this topic well through reading and broadly, just reading these 3 lines will have a powerful impact on oneself in terms of changing one's behavior and generating compassion.
dunroge dunga dela denege pato mebaro changzuge miktongore je semjen jigi so saya da an jigi sayare an dimembege da midang ande 제가 미기 강아제 미기 saya da soya da 강아제야 다 denege namshi genje 강아지기요 바다 근데 야지 칼라 마라와다 denege 강아제 사기 시기요 바다 안주게 안 죽벌이야 내 나서 차제 강아요 바다 동아요 바다 semjel야 또 스타베나 동아 파도 메바 semjel야 denege 지게디나 동아데마도 기보시아 메팅하러 차고라 제가 동아 파도 메바 든돌이야 진짜 denege 동아 든로게 동아 딜레 Gyatso gubjitamake manga shukshe de ida de kele dunga yore manga yore tida ida ge dunga dele jang gyatso gubjitibane gyatso gubjus la ji ane nyawa bale dunga shukshe yore chesa dine za nyawa dunga shukshe jo de nyawa bale de ida de dile chungwa de dunro de kele yore
dine kunde kari pecho di semchen mimang Mangnyo, gonna Mangnyo, young men as you dugno di chesha.
Dungagi shukchejon tibena.
Gosong.
Dunrogi dungale gyatso gubjitamake manga shukche ane nyawa pale dung ida de kele ngore. Da ida ge dungale tibena ida da nyawa bani tibena dene ida ge dunga dile gyatso gubjitamake manga nyawa pale dunga ngoro wa dang samdawena. Sina nyawa be dunga de shuk cheshoche ane dene ida dunga des nyawa be dunga le shuk chongara chegore. Dene dunro dige dunga dige ane ida ge dunga le de shuk chonga chegore.
The sufferings of animals, that we can know directly through what we've observed. We can also either see directly ourselves or what is available through media. We see there's unbearable suffering that they experience not only by being hunted and pursued and always at threat of being so, but also that they are subjugated or enslaved by humans. Many animals are enslaved by humans and treated in a way that is, if it were a human being treated in this way, we would all we'd all clearly see that this was unacceptable. But this animal too is a mother sentient being, and it's being enslaved and treated in a way that is completely unacceptable, and it's been done so for its labor, for its flesh, for its fur, for its skin. So this we can come to know in great detail. And because this is the one lower realm that we can directly perceive, it's important that we do reflect on this well, because the other 2 realms we can't directly perceive. But those 2 realms have immeasurably more suffering. When we get this, on one hand, the strong feeling that how I couldn't possibly bear the sufferings of animals, as well as the feeling of strong compassion for those who are, then we can relate that to the suffering that is being experienced by pretas, which is immeasurably stronger than animals. So the preta realm is seen as a lower realm than the animal realm because of the greater intensity of suffering. So this is a technique to come to appreciate the suffering that these spirits are experiencing, even though we cannot perceive them. And then likewise, the suffering that is experienced by the beings in the hell realms is many multitudes greater than that even being experienced by the pretas. So again, based on what we can more easily understand in terms of the intensity of suffering that animals are experiencing, we can also come to experience a great strength of the suffering that beings right now in hell are experiencing, because it's of a far greater magnitude even than the pretas are experiencing.
Dundra di Gele Gabriel Yang, Lele, Consec to the Hashile, Lele, Juji, Ungorwa, Chisnadineza, Yawa Ida, China, Ganga Chunga, Des Ganga Chunga, Chisnanya Bada Ida Pala, Guy Capchili, Des Juiting, Unimere, Chasa, Giti Nada, Kine Mashibado, Duhajan Yong, Chagin Sara.
Amongst the vast quantity of animals, there certainly are some, quite possibly living in your homes, where their condition really is not that bad. Their life is quite relaxed. They don't have too much to worry about. They have no, as long as they're in your homes, they have no grave danger of being hunted or killed, and they have a ready supply of food and comfort. So this is the case for a small number of animals. But amongst all the beings in the Preta realm, all the beings in the hell realms, there isn't a single one that experience even a moment of relaxation, even a moment of comfort. So this is something unique that can be found in the animal realm. It is not replicated in the spiritual hell realms.
That is one. Dada me marmor to lava june usam devatan sore. Chesa this word. Penevi Tavi Dunga Tani Dunga the Bear, Tawa Chimbushu, Tavi Dunga Shuchures. Chizadang to Yamyo Savan, Yamyo some Tang Shivena, Tavi Dunga till Taku to Midu, Nazo Yamno some Tavena. That's a mepe metachi me maho, part of Vachilla, Mazo Lava Chubena, Chicle, second Chipa Shabane, and the Sana Kangajene, Gunesha Tumara, Dunga di Yungurwa. Chizan Deniki Dunga Yunguyabana, Nyavigi, Nyawaki and Mea Parsi, Kien and Mashi Bardo, Deniki me, Parsi, Dunga Yung Kanga, Savi Dunga Yunguena, Chizan Dunga de la Injimiji Tana Mato Matanata, and to Gunera, due to some Minuas, Kanga Yungu, Chizapena, made Chukchimbo Taji, Memaho, Taji on the De La Valle, Chus Jeben, that's how I did Kanga Dina did Kamakashi and the Dile Kanga Dunga Chigirwas, the Chuzi Dile Dunga Chigirwas. Says I didn't Yamyong be some Tavena. Says I tell you Dunga de la Matanda, Tapshukini Mindus, and some Tankudu.
We come to the final paragraph on page 20. Right now, you cannot hold your hand in fire for even a few seconds. So what the point that is being made here in this final paragraph is to make these descriptions, for you as a meditator, to take these descriptions of sufferings that beings are experiencing right now, and to take that from a mere description and put it in the first person, how it would be if you yourself were suffering in such a way. So here we relate to the sufferings we have experienced in this life, and as it says here, we couldn't hold our finger in a flame for even a moment because the pain would be too intense. But what if, say, we had a small ember in our hand, and therefore for a few moments, that would just be unbearable. Or if we were forced to have a limb in fire for even a few moments, and not just one, but several, that would be intolerable. How would it be then if one was in one of these low realms, when the intensity of that suffering that we can as a human experience in a single moment is so much greater, and then it's not only for a single moment, but it's for an incredibly long lifespan. So this is the thought process we need to go through in meditation, so as to make sure that this understanding, for it to be transformative, isn't merely intellectual.
That is all. Yawalia, Sanyada, Tanya, Yoba, Tavi, Dunga Yunga, Yawalia, Shine, and the Yaki, Yawa, Tanya, Paki, Mashibadu, Kodele Matabadu, Jaja, Yodu, Jami Dunga Yungu. Today in the Bedina, Yamyo Sawa, Nasurda, Gun, Drangang, La Gueme, Parashachi, Debatanso. Chesam Gungalia, Tramutu, Gungala, Tramolia, and Chabada, Dinekalia, Duro Mebache, and the Chiki, Shapuch Tavena, Chach and the Chawach and the Detumba, the Shitugures, Chesa Deniki Kanga Yungore, Deniki Kanga Yobaina, 단 딜레 냐위게 장유 동화선 딜레 숙치고 지상한 쪽에 데니게 군가랴 장미 갑랴 지 데니게 장미 유디 갑랴 둘로 매와지 때치게 되투 매나 다들 둘로 잡잡지 건배나 된데 두고 막 살로 고고라 지상 데니자 이게 장위 동화된 쪽에 쇠투 매바이나 다 냐왈께는 동화 빠도 매바 용거 지상 딜레 탈답 치고 바딩 안 쪽에 군가게 장매 삼다는 동화디 녀네 녀들 타탑 지구도와 니나신 아주게 예비 동화 장예 동화 녀가 냐와를 마지에 되데 탑시 지어가 되데 뱀마세베 계천 보시오레스 제상한 저 냠용기 군게 장모들랑 아주 용고를 되는 냠용을 빠데 셰바이나 인지미지야 개와 지망한송 가서 예비 동화 녀가 장예 동화 녀 먹어야 돼 탑시 지어가 돼
The first line there related to the hot hells, and the second line then does to the cold hells. You cannot sit naked on ice in the winter for more than a few minutes. So our winters here are only occasionally slightly unpleasant, but some parts of the world are extremely cold. And if we were to find ourselves in such a part of the world, and we were to be without any clothing, we would struggle to cope for even a very short period of time. But the cold that is experienced in the cold hells is something that is incomparable to what a human, even in the coldest parts of the world, can experience. And the duration of time is these incredible lifespans, and it happens from the moment of birth until the moment of eventual death. So there's never a ceasing of the tremendous torment that comes from the cold in the cold hells. And so the purpose again of this line is for us to think about, how could I cope? We relate to our experiences of how difficult we can experience the climate to be. But what would it be like if I was in such a place? Here, this should lead to the arisal of a fear for such a rebirth, and from this then, a commitment to transform ourselves, to ensure that we do not accumulate any causes that could potentially lead to such a rebirth, to see it of absolute crucial importance that we take care of our minds, we take care of our resulting physical and verbal behavior, to ensure that we completely sever all potential causes that could lead to such a suffering rebirth.
Travi Dunga said, "I millionaire Tamo Shu, Chikunga Kabla, they can with me, Chi Lumba de Tunyan Zombo, and the Jamo Chadu, Salo Tasha do any Chasan setting the engine, the Chita, Yaji Sawashu Kablia, Janlo Tasha, the chanting the engine, the Yungurwa, Chisa, Diso, Yawangama, Sonam Sabu, Sonam Nitivure, Chisa Dinenza, Savi Dunga, Travi Dunga just Takaraha was in a Lumbo Kugyoda, then he Tungin made again, the hands together, and Yamyo Shero Chakan would have been a month paid you and Lumba to an Namshukunga Kaplia, and the Dropata, the Lukta, that Yoa, this way, Kambane, Pechu, that it out to come with Yorua. And Kungatamo, Kabla Metaji, Gyati Megan, get a door, there's Niku, Nisia doing the pa, childhood, doing the cat. Ya, a lot kept you doing the mail part dancing, to Senatus Niku, and the Gasan like Jablo the child, then you say, just like the Niki, Gango, as a millionaire, just like the Niki, to do Yamio sometimes, the Niki Gango, you and that, Yawa Daniel said the delay that tableau, Jaja, Jaggy, Shuchi, your bazaar. The
country such as Australia, there's a lot of protection from the climate. So when the weather's hot like this, not only do you have fans, but in your homes you have air conditioning. And in the winter, everyone has heaters, probably electric blankets, and you have very nice warm clothing. So there's a lot of protection in developed countries such as Australia from the climate. Of course, your homes are also well made. But we know that this isn't the case throughout our world. So what you experience here is the result of virtue that you have accumulated yourself in past lives. These are the karmic results of virtue that you've accumulated. So many other humans are not experiencing the results of such virtue. They suffer so much more from the extremes of climate. For example, the part of the world I'm from, in the high Himalayas, then the people who are living there, in winter in particular, many of them are shepherds and nomads. So a lot of the year is very cold. There's a lot of snow and ice outside. Their homes are made from rough stone. They're very simple houses. And inside they're heating as a fire. Sounds very nice to have a roaring fire. But the reality is, whichever part of your body is facing that fire, that will be nice and warm. But the back and the side will be cold. So you'll turn around, but then very quickly your front is icy. Your back will be warm. And it's like that all night long. And then you go out to work in the day, to tend to your animals, and you're just very cold. And that's just how it is. There isn't a solution available like you have in developed countries. So this shows the differing experiences that people have, and this comes from the differing ripening causes, the different causes that have accumulated that are now have ripened and being experienced in this life.
And
similarly, when they go to sleep at night, then they'll change their clothes, and whilst changing their clothes, it's really freezing. And then they get into bed and they're shivering and they're shaking. It takes a while to fall asleep to get a little bit of body heat going. And the process is similar in the morning. They get up and now they put on their clothes for the day, and those clothes are cold. So again, they get undressed and put on clothes, and again they're freezing. So they start their day in the cold, they end their day in the cold. And that's just how it is. And that's all they've known. But these are the results of karma.
kala kyune mara changa zo dhyoba ina chogo to ne ka le ga je jo guyu hora ta tu ma chogo to je ne jiza ga ya sa ya me digen deni gi ne chogo to je ga ga yor was jiza deni gi ga ga yoba sang ju ge sa ya ga ya me ba che to na dunga gi chogo chu tu ya me kala sa ya me ba deni ne je kom yi dunga di gan ju ge nyam nyo de ha gu du was jiza deni gi nyam nyo dunga yong gu yoba ina ta ideal ma je ba ina 기네 이달 파케와레네 마시 바도 아니 그런 저기 저것도 제 칼라사에 베두가 되네 추동에 베두가 셈을 나려야 칼라게 되니라 추되니 게디라나 삼제 섬고래 이내다 사야도 여러가 맞잖아 되네에서 또 베두가 요레스 이제 되네 여반자 되니기 마음바나 되니기 이달 마케와디 라다 현차상 될 마케와디 탑시드 베서 제고고레스 제가 될 게바나 강아되네 요래 빼나가서 이미지니 칼라사야다 주도하면 강아 같이 되기도 제가 디나시 강아 딜레 강아 답로 숙체요로 인자 델레 다들 동어 여바데 델레 타고 바디 나 저기 냠용 토네 두 삼다와나 아니 삼다도 그래서 그래.
The text now moves to the Preta realms. To pass even a single day without eating or drinking anything brings great difficulty. So we have some experience of this. If we miss a meal, or if we haven't been shopping and we have nothing to eat, we're hungry and it's unpleasant, we know what it's like. Or if we have something eaten and it's not enough, we're not at all satiated and there's nothing else. This is really disturbing. Or if we are away from a place where there's anything to drink and we're parched, this is really disturbing, and we worry about this. It causes us quite some angst. So some moments in our life, some short moments in our life, we probably have all experienced this. But there are beings right now who that is their entire experience from the moment of their birth throughout their entire lives without respite until their eventual death. They suffer from intense thirst, intense hunger, something that we have no experience of. But we need to relate to the experience that we do have. See how difficult this was. And be aware that beings are suffering in this way due to causes that they have accumulated, and thereby firstly commit to turn away from non-virtue, turn away from accumulating the causes that lead to such a rebirth. And moreover, commit to being of aid to others, to ensure that we don't play any part in others accumulating causes that will lead to suffering. And that we commit to developing ourselves spiritually so that we can skillfully guide others to avoid such causes. So this is the purpose of these reflections and why we need to do them repeatedly, so as to transform our way of thinking, turn away from non-virtue and strive with sincerity to become a skilled practitioner.
Lula, Jangwu Sogyo, Sodaba, Zamian, Sobarakana, Sarangi, and Yayu, Yawa, Ida, Duro, Jigi, Sumbur Minube, Duan, so Taki, Chitter, Yamsia. Chiza, now to do some Dangureje, Yayu, Dunga, Dine Yores, Yayu, Sabi, Dunga, Dine, Sanya, Dunga, Dine, Changi, Dunga, Dine, Yores, and Samta, and then Dundu, Dunga, the Adit, Dundu, Kanga, Dine, Dua, some big Dine, some Tane, and Dine, some time, also Ragi, Sawa Tibe, the Menalia, Lava Chunju, and Savi, Dunga, Kapat Mepa Yungu. She said, Dine, Sawa Yong, Tugumena, Dunga, the Kanga said, Kanga, Taguena, and Yayu Dunga, the Sayu Dunga, the Tagu, Cesa, Susara, Lulia, and Dujanro, she stood up and that's why Lula, Jango Soyo, Sotaba, Sibut, Dramada, Budromada, Dine, Sibuchi, Sojava, Tanzilia, Chicabro, Suvene, Sane, Kaze Dungangu, De Dunga, the young Azuki, Suetumena, then Yayu Dunga, said them, and then Yitagi Dunga. Dundu Dunga said, the Matan Tabidu, Sembige, Denigi, the engine Minjida, tell the tower Jehu to Sembi, some Danko Regere, and Dagu Super Midu, Jida Suenyamdo, the Niki Canis Yan Suetugure, the Niza, that day Yamla Panes, that Sedelia, Sosorangi, Chabi Dunga, and the Chick, Drotobi Dunga, and the Javi Dunga, some Dutch, the Neganga Yobanza, and Desi Dunga, the Sula, the Matan Tabinu, Sembige. And the
line continues, and merely a tiny bee sting seems terrible. How then will you be able to bear the heat or cold of the hells, the anguish of the pretas, or the horror of animal existence where they eat one another? So here the section first continues with the sufferings of animals relating to being bitten by insects. So this is something we experience, but if you think about what animals experience in terms of where they live and they sleep, this is something very regular for themselves. For us it's kind of rare when we are bitten by an insect, it's unpleasant, we're disturbed by it. But most animals experience suffering like this continuously. So the purpose of these reflections is to come to firstly understand the sufferings of each of the three lower realms well, and then to reflect on them again and again, as we see here, thinking about how we would be able to bear the sufferings of the hot and cold hells, the anguish of the pretas, or the horrors of the animal existence. As we become very aware of the intensity of suffering that potentially awaits us and all beings in the happy migrations, all ordinary beings in the happy migrations, as well as this intense suffering that is being experienced by those in the lower realms, this will have a transformative effect on us in how we relate to our own behavior, our own accumulation of karma, our compassion towards others. It will also have a transformative effect on how we relate to our own physical suffering. Because as a human, whatever physical suffering we experience pales in significance compared to what is being experienced by others in the lower realms right now. When our mind has been transformed by these meditations, then our physical sufferings, we'll see them in a more realistic perspective. Moreover, our behavior will be transformed through our commitment to make an effort in our spiritual development and thereby not accumulate causes for suffering, as well as compassion for others.
당보 예외 동화 되는 여러 동화 한지 이다이 동화 되네 dundu기 동화 되네 여러 동화 되기 봐 삼단에 되네 어다 동화 될 마탄데 탑 동화 될 다 타와 지기스 몽바나가 될 야마케 와체 될 마케베기 탑시지 지기 셈베 될 마탄데 탑 미누 셈비 삼로디 아주 야네네 담고 땅 고미야들이 지나 디니기 소소라라이나 딜레 마타 딜레 마기야다 마오바나 딜레 타고도 셈베다 안 딜레 데 소소 지부 많이 봐 셈젠 차상 동안 딜레데 타고도 삼베게 아니 야네야도 타르게 삼바 고미야디 또 고미야디레다 don달라 디니기 타고도 셈 야네야도 고미야디 데 삼로 디니기가 지 동안 이거데 디니기 삼로 땅제 삼단네 땅바이나 딜레야 타르게 삼로디 슉체지 리고와 온도신 다데니게 하는 어저께 삼다이도 공고에디 동안에 타르게 삼바 고미에 따라래다 조 고미에 디레디고스 아주 예외 동안 아베 동안 예외 동안 사리다이 동안 dundu 동안도 삼단에 동안들 타고도 델레 타고도 지 마원바나 델레 랑션 참마 델레 게모하데 지긴 삼비게 삼다이디 디안에 안도 따야되다 고미에 조 지디래.
So then, now let's encapsulate the meditation to engage in here. So one meditates on the sufferings being experienced in the hell realms, in the preta realms, in the animal realms. Doing so in a way that that suffering becomes vivid and clear to us. And we start out from a first-person perspective, thinking, how would it be if I had to experience this? I can't cope with even a small suffering in relation to heat or cold, hunger, thirst, or insect bites and so forth. How could I bear what is being experienced there right now? That then leads to the thought naturally arising, I must ensure I do not accumulate the causes that will result in such suffering. I must close the physical, verbal, and mental doors to non-virtue. I must strive to free myself, to liberate myself from the potential of being born in the lower realms. I must abandon non-virtue. So that's the first objective to achieve. Through meditating on the sufferings of the lower realms, relating to it on a first-person perspective, one achieves the objective of the commitment to turn away from any non-virtue, no matter how slight. Then one is ready to turn one's attention in the meditation to others. And this focus on others here is two-part. The objective is the same, but we do so from two perspectives. First, about our kind mother sentient beings who are suffering there right now. That this isn't something merely theoretical. There are beings right now suffering in ways exactly like I've been meditating, and many more that I can't even comprehend. That will lead to the rise of compassion for these beings suffering in this way. Secondly, we think about those who are not lost in the lower realms, but who have no idea about what are the causes that lead to such a rebirth, and therefore are accumulating them. Through their ignorance, their lack of knowledge, are accumulating the causes that can only ripen in such a rebirth. this then too leads for compassion for our mother sentient beings who through their ignorance are in a sense embracing the causes of suffering. So the second part of the motivation, its objective, is to generate compassion for all others, both those suffering in the lower realms and those who are not there now, but are accumulating the causes for it. So the purpose then of these two meditations, first relating to ourselves, secondly then to others, is to generate this strong and determined commitment to use this life well, and to strive not to accumulate causes for suffering, and also develop strong compassion. And there's a relationship here of proportionality. The more one does, the more repeatedly and or regularly one does this meditation, and the more intensely the emotional result that comes from it, the greater our mental transformation will be. If one doesn't do the meditation, or if one just comes to the class or occasionally reads the book, there's some impact on the mind, but it's not transformed. So it's with any area in life, the more one puts in, the more one gets out. So the transformation will come through gathering the knowledge and engaging repeatedly in the meditation.
And that is lawyer tamadela Geshe Thubten Rabten gom shin sudwa yiwa mathen ba chesa data nga zo lia nyewi dunga da ida dunga da dene samda de sowa shera shlim dwa chesa dene gi dunro dunga samda dene da yiwa mathen gom de nga du yane ya do kem gom ba dele da dunga samda dele thagu du sembe yane ya do samda ba na gazam chilya samno nalia Gedina oda chige semjen dunro da dene chig to dunga dige de matanda tabminu sembe samno de yane yadu gedina aso samno gom samda mo ga ko ran shigi chu samna le le ya ji yong ko ba chesa dene za samno de gywa ro yi gywa twen ba de na de ji chanda dunga sam nyawa ida dunro se nyawa ida gi dunga dige samda de thago sembe samno je nga de ligyo marwa chesa dene dunga dige shera chige Shiragi Duma de Koyon de Soa Assembly, Soa Shiraling Benua. Chayane, Yado, some Tele, Tau, some Gumsen, some Tadu, and Ganzambi Assembly, Soa de Masona, Soa Shucheli, or the Tele, the Tau do some big. Dinizan, Gedina Yasin, Nisian order, didn't do what the Tau Chigota, some somebody, Korashi, nobody Leon, or Chesa, Tele Yigu, Tabaso, and Dinigi, some Lele Padu, some Dangombo, Resor.
This paragraph ends with, meditate on the sufferings of the lower realms until you are filled with dread and apprehension. So, as it's just been mentioned then, as with all our meditations, if we engage in them repeatedly over a sustained period, undoubtedly will transform our mind. So when we think about the suffering, we think about it in the first person, so that with vivid clarity, we're imagining how it would be if we were suffering in these ways described. Of course, fear and dread will arise within ourselves for the potential that awaits us due to our previously accumulated negativity. And in dependence on the strength of this dread and apprehension, transformation will come to our way of thinking and thereby our physical and verbal behavior. And then when we think about, if I was born there, not only would I be suffering excruciatingly, but I would be helpless. In that the suffering in these lower realms is so intense. It's not like at that point one can apply oneself to virtue and try and accumulate the causes to be freed. The suffering is too intense. I would be helpless born there, helpless with my pain. Moreover, when in the meditation, when we take this the experience that has arisen, and then we apply it to others, to both those who are suffering there now and those for whom such a rebirth will follow, then if we engage in this meditation repeatedly over a sustained period, and naturally compassion will arise. You could almost say it's not possible for compassion not to arise. Compassion for those beings who are suffering there right now, compassion for those for whom in the next life they may well be born there. So therefore, just like every week with all our topics, I encourage you to engage in these meditations repeatedly over a sustained period, because meditation that is done repeatedly on the basis of knowledge will transform one's mind. And here, and as always, in dependence on how regularly one does this meditation, that will lead to the strength of mental transformation and the strength of our mental transformation. So therefore, again, I encourage you to engage in these meditations regularly.
That's the only new Nyawala, Tawa Mechimbo Baya, Jagi, Kamba, Mebardugan, and Sunjari Tamaragi to Lautuya, and Jia, and Denigores, and Jiggy, Chawada, Denigore, Sungor, Shigoro, and you do what in Yoya, Denigor, she and Delia, and Tiwashi, Junju Chimbonala, Tisungudua, Simji, Nevi, Sunjanam, says Junju, Nevi, Sunjana, Sujiki, the Chedu Chies, been the same. Nyawagi Chunchada, Dinichin, Sui Sugo, Sui Chedu, Sui Sugo, Suhan Suyo, Jaxia Sashi, Sui Ches, Dele Ja Kangba, Mebardugan, Miss Siagi, Dinigi, Sui Severs, Meso Data, Gilichus, and Mechimboda, and Sochimboda, Dinigi, and Jig, Digi, and the Ganis Jumales, and Dera Tam Yadjoro Chile. Dadelia, Sanya Jumni Digi, Deda Tamje, and Nikaza. Data Tamja and the Dixmember to be sums. Says that the nigger Chasa, Suji, Komabana, Deligre, D. Dondalins, and Sukan Yorubas and Mishadachi, Jack Canvas, Metache, Manzudinalia, Gangatea, Sugoras, and Dinesu Mares. And the Negarjebas and Soso Rara, Jawangama, Digby Savares. Chesan Digby Legi Wangi, Soso din Maki or do Jack Canva Mebawata, Denigi. Chauram Yabata, Chunchada, the Rigma Chasa, Soso Kiwamaki, Divasapi, Digby Gulet in Chungo, Echesuar, San Yuchim and Tisuar, Echere.
At this point, it's perhaps good to quell any doubts that one may have, because there's a common doubt about, in particular, the unseen realms, but you could say to any of the lower realms, or any of the realms, in that, where do these come from? Who created them? Who are the beings who are tasked with building these burning houses, these burning iron houses that beings are trapped in one of the hells, or in another hell? Who are these beings who are tasked with severing the limbs from beings? Where does this all come from? So this is addressed by Shantideva in the 5th chapter of his Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Who intentionally created the weapons of hell beings? Who created the burning iron ground? From what did all the hosts of demons ensue? And Shantideva continues in the next verse. The Buddha taught that all such things are the negative mind. Hence within the 3 worlds there is nothing to fear other than my own mind. In particular here then to look at here in particular the reply from the Buddha is, as quoted here by Shantideva, the Buddha is saying explicitly that these realms are created by karma, and the karma that beings themselves have accumulated in their previous lives themselves. There's no one tasked with building these iron flaming houses or with severing limbs. This has come about in dependence on those beings' negative karma that they themselves have accumulated in past lives, and now the karma has ripened, and now they are experiencing those ripening results.
shuk chenpo shuk chebena digi nyawali kigres digba dingling chebena digi ane yidali kigores yada dene digba to chunga digi dundrol kigores chizan de zang nyawa yida dundrol ke gyudi karela na digbi les yadir digba letine digba chebena nyawa yida dundrol kigres chizan da nyawa yida dundrol dile targo gine karasne digba de pango gores phaka gores digba de Dipakaya Kaniska was in Gyawatu Kores, Gyawatu Baina, and Dipaka. Dipaka, Kewi, Jebutile, Yawachima, Nason, and Nasonda, and Nason Kigmar, Yawaida, Dundul Kigmar, and Gawaki, Dendrol Kigres, the names are Manzugi, Ju, Dipa Pa Shayata, Dipa Masayata, Dipa Side Pa Katum Cheata, and the Gyawatu and the Pesuchi Kores.
Whichever of the lower realms a being is born in, whether it's in the hells or in the spirit realm or in the animal realm, this has all come about in dependence on karma that being has accumulated, in particular negative karma or non-virtuous karma. But to be more particular, it's the strength of that negativity that ripens at the time of death and propels the rebirth that determines which one of these three broad realms the being is to be reborn. If it's a powerful negative imprint, a particularly powerful negative imprint that ripens and propels the rebirth, that will be in a hell realm. If it's a negative deed that the being performed and then that ripens at the time of death, but it's of an average strength, then it will lead to rebirth as a spirit, as a preta. And if it's a negative deed that being accumulated that's of a much milder strength, should that ripen at the time of death, that is what will lead then or propel a rebirth as an animal. So knowing that, then it's clear that it's negative karma that must be abandoned. How should negative karma be abandoned? By applying oneself to the cultivation of the opposite, virtuous karma, positive karma. Because the accumulation of positive karma, when that ripens at the time of death, it leads to the rebirth in a happy migration, as a human or as a god. So therefore one needs to commit to abandoning non-virtue and rather focus solely on the accumulation of virtue.
And digba paya dang aso ye gyu digba paya dang ane anzuge ngaso le tarya dendrege gyu gewa duye dire di bezo chego res jesa andi bezo chegi anda zo che di tende yakshur kagiri la dan nyawa le kenane gewa digba paya dang paya gi ane gewa tuya ma gewa koga khora yo mare dunu idala kebaine gewa duye be masika ko dunu kebaine 다 빼마스 가고 자들 다 마저 디부 보야당 개워 주야기 된 약쇼디 가려라면 단 단주기 가서래 된주 루틴들이 된주 하다 미고 방 된들이 니나네 장마주게 미유리데 아니 단주기 미르 뭐치 사디 다 디부 보야당 개워 주야기 배주제기 탑시 배주제기 약쇼디 된디 다 단주기 미르 뭐치 사디 차거래 해지래
meditation that's been described tonight will culminate in this thought that I have to abandon the causes that will lead to a rebirth in the lower realms. And not only that, I must ensure I accumulate the causes that lead to a happy migration, a rebirth as a human or God. So therefore I must abandon non-virtue and strive to accumulate virtue. And the time to do that is right now. Because if I delay, if I procrastinate, if I put it off, death, which could come at any moment, should death then be followed in the next breath by rebirth in the lower realms, once born there, it really is too late. It's incredibly difficult for being born as an animal to accumulate virtue. It's exponentially more difficult for a preta and impossible for a hell being to do so. So this cannot be procrastinated. Death can come at any time, and rebirth in the lower realms, if I'm born there, I will be helpless. I will not be able to remedy my situation. The time to remedy my situation is actually right now, from this very moment, and to commit myself to utilize what remains of this life well, because amongst the various bases that exist to accumulate virtue and abandon non-virtue, to develop oneself spiritually, the very best is what we've achieved, a precious human rebirth. There isn't a better circumstance to wait for or to long for. We already have achieved something of great value, something of incomparable value. So don't wait, don't procrastinate. So here in the meditation, we're taking the strength of the meditations we did last year on precious human rebirth and the impermanence of this life. And we're utilizing these three topics now to give great strength to us, to transform ourselves.
Beber Jaw Nyamdo Goms. Carsungora Sene, the Jinga Nyawa, the Yida, Maso Dunga, some Bachi, Dunga Dele, Tau to Dele, Mahomba Dele Majawa Chegudu, Sempege, at the Cocomiasha. And the Negomne, the Nigetai didn't tell you, didn't Milu topic, it didn't make the ring Milu top to your Chesa, didn't go up, Masayapures, that the names I didn't tell you, didn't. Gomiagi Tian Chabajan, Tungan Chazan Sandi, we didn't tell ya, and the Naso the magic you deeper the Pungins, and the Nasola Tarbi, Taran Deva, Dendriki, you gave what the Dugi, some jet, and the Yagom, do deep chickens and somebody, Mayana Yado Gomo, Hesse Gomiai, Gomgo Hesse.
This then brings us to the top of page 21. Now that you have gained an auspicious human form, abandon the causes of lower rebirth and cultivate the causes of a happy rebirth. Determine to apply yourself to the methods that cut off the path to the lower realms. So as we see here, we've now gone through the meditation on the suffering in the lower realms that potentially awaits us, as well as is being experienced by so many mother sentient beings now, and is likely to be experienced by so many other beings who are not born there at the moment. Having given rise to that strong wish not to be born there and to ensure that we are not, we now remind ourselves of our previous meditations, that we have achieved this precious human rebirth. We are so incredibly fortunate we've achieved these 18 freedoms and endowments. So that great joyful meditation that was done previously, we now remind ourselves of. And this adds strength to this commitment to ensure that we use our life well, that we appreciate what we have achieved and we don't take it for granted. And we ensure that we continue to accumulate the causes that will lead to such good rebirths as well, life after life, and be of benefit to others. So here we're seeing through this culmination of these, or the combination of these three meditations, is we've got the strength of mind now to really take responsibility for our way of thinking of our mind and to transform that, and thereby in every interaction we have with others be very aware of our behavior, our way of speaking, because we're always taking care of our mind. And this strength of mind, this transformative strength of mind, comes through doing these meditations repeatedly over a sustained period.
Tenju Milu Rinpoche top, and D. Delia Chen Yamlenchia, Denigi, Sam Dayo, Pemasa Yago Chungsha, Sambegi, Kiwangama, Kiwa de Chisu Hirata, Kawakum. And during Araine, Dedic Nasongi Dunatile Tawus, Chesandi Taiga Dunala didn't go up Yudu Kablia, and then Nasongi Tipasia de Kam, to the Bungins, then gave Gawasia de Katse to Drubi, Sambegi, during Magenta Tap, the drink that bit. Must be to Chimbuchi, Sambege, some Diana, Adocomiadi, then I to get that during Casanta, Kasi Yamada, that during the change, that Dumdes and Com Jadi, Yamnesa, this some of the Yane, how to die there. And Dimase, and Dangaraya, that Maze, that Shan, Simjan Tamshan, that Simjan Digine, and Duma de Giwachimang also, my dear, you. Tip of Poyata, Gawa Duelia, me Tupsi Katis in a Bezu, Kanis, Robert Chigins and Biggie, Semje, Shanatiki, and Duma, Maso the Majaging, a tablum Chigis, Chazan Conduine, Gawa Chima, and the Dendry Tender Totugay, Tobigi tablum Chigins and Biggie, Denigi Samta, and that in Yawada, Dungadam, Idada, and the Dundu Dunga Nyoshi Batica, Ninja, Sambi Yama, Divasashi, Dibi, women by Consolia, Ninja. Me that the Gawasa Shaba Deletine and Consuki Dungatiki Tarje and Dunga Yomo Wacheda and Dendri Yahada Muko Topo Show, Sembi, Samlayane to Tayada, do some Dananga to Gawati, Tamadi Gawati and Dine Gawasa Shaba Dige and Simja Dungan, Semja Dunga Tarje and Diki Yoma Gurku Show Sembi, oh Malam Jada, do some time.
Now I'll bring you to the end part of this meditation. So we've gone through this reflection on the lower realms, giving rise to a strong commitment for ourselves and others to transform ourselves. So here now we've come to the part where we're also reflecting on what we have achieved with this precious human rebirth, that there's no time like right now, no opportunity as good as what we have right now to transform ourselves and become a being of incomparable benefit in the world. So in this ending part of the meditation, we remind ourselves that this precious human rebirth that we have achieved has come about independent on the causes that we ourselves accumulated in the past. In past lives we accumulated tremendous stores of virtue, and now we are enjoying that result. That, reminding ourselves of that, should bring joy to our mind of what we've done and strength to the mind knowing that what we can achieve. And therefore it's very easy to commit to continue to act in a way that we already have a habit for and to just develop on that, to ensure that our future rebirths are at least as good as the one we have now. And then we remind ourselves that in addition to having achieved this human rebirth, it is in particular a precious human rebirth in that we have this amazing opportunity to practice the Buddha Dharma, or to express the word practice differently, we have this amazing opportunity to gain experience of the Buddha Dharma. Due to our own endeavors in the past, we have not been born in the lower realms. We are not suffering in this intense way, lost and helpless. So in this way, we should generate great joy at this rebirth that we've achieved, at this opportunity that we have to transform ourselves through the cultivation of the minds of the Buddha Dharma within us, all due to our previous endeavors, our endeavors in our previous lives. So this should add to our strength of mind, but now ensuring that our mind is not only powerful but joyful as well. And this then adds strength to this commitment that I'll guard my mind, I'll be aware of my mind at all times and ensure that it doesn't come under the sway of negative emotions or the afflictive minds, and thereby I will abandon every non-virtue, no matter how slight. And moreover, I will seek out opportunities to be of benefit to others, seek out opportunities to accumulate virtue, and I'll take them, no matter how slight. Whenever there's an opportunity that I can be of benefit to others, I will do so. If there's an opportunity where I can offer food to a being that's hungry, or protection to a being that's facing great danger, I will do so. I will seek these opportunities and I'll embrace them with joy and help beings. And in this way, not only have we generated strong compassion for the suffering of others, but we're committing to ease the suffering of others wherever we can, directly. And not just through our physical activity, but also through our way of speaking. And ensure that we, at the very least, we don't add to the burden of pain and difficulty that others experience, but will ease their difficulty. And now as we come to the end of this meditation, we come to dedicate this virtue to others. This entire meditation has come about in dependence on the kindness of others. And we dedicate this virtue to them. May all those who are languishing in the lower realms, may they be reborn in the high realms. May they be reborn immediately in the high realms. And not only that, may they come under the care of a Mahayana virtuous friend and practice the Buddha Dharma and transform themselves and guide others too. May those who are not lost in the lower realms right now, may they too come under the care of a Mahayana spiritual friend, recognize them as such, and train themselves with vigor and commitment, transforming themselves and being of ever greater benefit to others. So we conclude our meditation dedicating all this virtue to the welfare of others. We dedicate of course to those lost without help, in a helpless situation in the lower realms, but we also dedicate to those who are not in the lower realms, and the vast majority of whom have no idea of what potential rebirth awaits them. So we dedicate all this virtue with a strong commitment that may love and compassion arise within them. And in this way, through the arisal of such powerful minds, transform their behavior and their interaction with others so that they don't create any causes to suffering, and moreover, may they never suffer in any way again. So here we dedicate with intensity to all beings, not just those who are suffering in these very manifest, obvious ways, but to all beings, so that their ignorance is overcome, that all their afflictions are overcome, and that they generate virtuous minds such of love and compassion, and may they never suffer. Naningara, Sangha Naningara. Just before we conclude, so today is the 12th of February. On the 14th of February, then in my Kamsen, which is also Lama Zopa's Kamsen, they will be offering a long life puja to Lama Zopa. So when we come to dedicate now, as well as if you can in a couple of days, add your prayers to the long that may Zopa Rinpoche remain in this world continuously, and continue to be of such great benefit to all beings. Thank you very much.